Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're embarking on, well, a really crucial exploration. A deep dive into what are known as the three jewels of Buddhist refuge. These aren't just, abstract ideas. They're the fundamental pillars holding up Buddhist practice and identity. The Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha.
Exactly. And we're pulling our insights directly from excerpts titled The Three Jewels of Buddhist Refuge, specifically from a piece called The Buddha's Journey.
Right.
Our mission here really is to unpack these essential concepts, not just definitions, but to see them as this living framework, a framework that's guided millions towards spiritual development.
Think of it maybe as a shortcut, a way to grasp the very foundation of a path that, well, countless individuals worldwide turn to for guidance and liberation.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how these three elements, they might seem distinct at first, but they actually weave together.
Interdependent?
Completely. They form a complete system offering profound insights and also surprisingly practical guidance for anyone looking for a deeper understanding.
Okay, so let's start right there at the beginning of this path. The core act you mentioned for anyone engaging with Buddhism is taking refuge in these three jewels.
Yes.
But what does taking refuge actually mean? We hear it's not blind faith, so what kind of commitment are we talking about?
That's a great question. It's really an act of profound, confident reliance. It's absolutely vital to get that it's not about blind faith.
Yeah.
It's more a process of active verification, you could say. Each step of practice, every time you apply the teachings, it builds trust. Real, demonstrable trust.
So it moves beyond just believing something intellectually.
Right. It turns intellectual understanding into a lived conviction. It's like an internal turning, a shift towards these three sources, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, as the ultimate sources of safety and ultimately liberation from suffering.
So it's a conscious alignment then, a deliberate choice to orient yourself towards this path leading away from suffering and towards real peace. It sounds like this initial commitment is the bedrock, really. Everything else in Buddhist practice sort of builds on this foundation.
Precisely. It sets the intention. It establishes the direction. For you listening, perhaps think about how setting a clear intention, that kind of foundational commitment, shapes any big journey you undertake, whether it's personal or about learning something new.
It gives you that compass heading.
Exactly. That essential compass heading.
And who was it that first charted this course? That brings us neatly to the first jewel, the Buddha.
Yes, the awakened one.
When we talk about taking refuge in the Buddha, what does that really signify? Is it just acknowledging Siddhartha Gautama existed, or is there more? What's the deeper insight?
Well, it's seeing him as the perfectly awakened one, yes, but also as the supreme teacher, the one who discovered the path to nirvana entirely on his own steam.
Right, through his own effort.
Through his own effort. And what's really profound here, and sometimes misunderstood, is that it's not about worshiping him as a god.
Okay, that's important.
Very important. Instead, it's about honoring him as the ultimate example of human potential fully realized. His dedication, even when facing, huge doubts and struggles, it shows that enlightenment isn't some mystical gift for a select few.
It's something achievable.
It's the radical outcome of dedicated human effort. That's the inspiration.
So he's the guide, the one who actually walked the path, reached the destination, and basically offered living proof that suffering can be overcome.
Living proof, exactly. His life is like an inspiring blueprint. It shows the courage, the perseverance, the wisdom needed.
And if you're listening and maybe grappling with a complex problem or facing a steep learning curve, think about that power. The power of having an inspiring example, someone who's already navigated the challenges you're facing.
Makes a difference.
Okay, so if the Buddha is the ultimate guide, what's the wisdom he shared? That leads us to the second jewel, the Dhamma.
The teaching, yes.
Often defined as the truth itself, maybe the universal law the Buddha discovered. But what makes this truth a refuge? How does knowing truth help?
Well, the Dhamma is the complete body of teachings, everything the Buddha discovered and then articulated. This covers foundational things like the Four Noble Truths.
We break down suffering.
Exactly. They dissect the nature of suffering and how to end it. Then there's the Noble Eightfold Path, which is a really practical step-by-step guide to liberation.
The how-to.
The how-to, precisely. And also profound concepts like dependent origination, this intricate web of cause and effect in our experience, or ideas like impermanence and not self, which really challenge our basic assumptions about reality.
And the ultimate purpose of all this
is liberation from suffering. That's the goal.
What strikes me is how the Dhamma is described. It's called well expounded, meaning clear, logical, leading to its goal, and also visible here and now. What does that mean practically? How is it different from just philosophy?
Visible here and now means its benefits aren't just theoretical or for some future life. You can experience them in this life. Right now. The Dhamma is timeless. It's not some rigid dogma you have to believe. It's presented as a practical map, a set of tools. And the idea is, when you actually apply these tools, use this map, you gain genuine insight. You experience inner transformation directly.
So taking refuge here means committing to actually using these tools.
Yes, committing to understanding and diligently practicing these liberating truths. For you, think about how having a clear, logical, applicable set of principles, a kind of operating manual, can be incredibly powerful, not just for complex information, but for your own personal growth, navigating reality itself.
A verifiable operating manual for reality. I like that.
It's meant to be tested.
Okay, so we have the guide, the Buddha, we have the map, the practical teachings, the Dhamma. But any significant journey, especially one like this, is rarely done alone, is it?
Very true.
That brings it to the third jewel, the Sangha, the community of practitioners. How does a community become a refuge? What does that mean?
The Sangha actually has two main aspects we should probably touch on. First, there's what's called the Noble Sangha. These are the enlightened or highly realized practitioners, the ones who truly embody the Dhamma in their lives. They serve as living examples, real guides showing what's possible.
Like living proof, continuing the Buddha's example.
In a way, yes. They demonstrate the path lived. And then there's the broader community. This includes the monastics, bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, but also lay practitioners, ordinary people who are sincerely trying to follow the path.
And this wider community, what's its role?
It provides invaluable support, encouragement, inspiration. It's a community bound by a shared purpose, a shared direction.
So it's about relying on others on the same path.
Absolutely. Taking refuge in the Sangha means relying on that collective wisdom, the shared experience, the mutual support of others walking alongside you towards liberation. It counters that feeling of isolation, which can be really strong on a spiritual path. And it provides very practical assistance sometimes, too. Think about it in other contexts. When you're learning a new skill, or maybe researching a complex topic, or even building a business, where do you find your Sangha?
Right, that support network.
That support network. Think about the critical role of that community. Maybe it's an academic group, a professional network, even just an online forum for a niche interest. How vital is that for fostering growth, sharing knowledge, getting practical help?
It makes a huge difference. So it's becoming really clear these three aren't just separate items on a list. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. They're not standalone pillars.
Not at all. It's more like an ecosystem, as you said earlier.
How do they really interlock? What's the dynamic?
They are profoundly interdependent. Think about it. There would be no Dhamma, no teachings, if the Buddha hadn't discovered and taught them.
Makes sense.
And that Dhamma, that precious map, well, it would likely just fade away without the Sangha, the community, to preserve it, to practice it, and crucially, to teach it to new generations.
Passing it on.
Passing it on. And likewise, the Sangha. What would its purpose be without the Dhamma to practice and the Buddha's example to follow? It would lose its foundation.
So it's a complete loop. Guide, path, companions.
Exactly. Together, they form a complete living path to awakening. For millions of people around the world, turning to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha isn't just some, religious formality. It's the very first, truly transformative step on a profound journey towards freedom from suffering.
And for you listening, maybe reflect on that interconnectedness in other areas.
Yeah.
How understanding the links between, say, theory, practice, and community, how that might lead to a more complete, more resilient, more sustainable approach to whatever you're learning or pursuing in life.
That connection is key.
So we've taken a deep dive today into the three jewels. The Buddha, the ultimate guide, the Dhamma, the liberating teaching, the map, and the Sangha, the essential supportive community. Together, as we've seen, they offer this comprehensive, really holistic framework for a path towards liberation and deep inner transformation.
Indeed. And as you continue on your own journey, whatever that might be, learning, discovery, personal growth, maybe consider this. How might understanding these roles, the foundational guide, the practical knowledge, the supportive community, how might that fundamentally change how you approach your next big challenge?
Or how you pursue deeper understanding.
Exactly. What elements in your own quest right now serve as your Dhamma, your practical knowledge base? And perhaps just as importantly, where do you find your Sangha, your community of support?
That's a great question to ponder. We definitely encourage you to explore these concepts further on your own terms.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.